Hello, Lumineers, and welcome back to the next episode of Boost Friend Fridays. I am your host, Melissa, aka Missy Enchanted, and in this episode, we are going to be chatting with none other than another Melissa. You know
Hello.
her. Hello, Melissa. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. So I was going to go into like this whole intro about obviously you know her from a bunch of Disney Lorcana tournaments. She is an amazing player. She has trailblazed, dogs, right? You did so well with dogs in
I love
Europe
dogs.
and yeah. And at some point you were even wrecking it with Amethyst Steel. You've just been doing amazing things, and I am so glad to, one, of course, have you on the show, and two, happy to call you a friend. So thank you so much for being on the show.
I'm happy to be here. We've been Lorcana friends for almost since the
Oh,
beginning, I feel like. So
yeah,
I'm happy to
yeah,
join
yeah.
anytime.
Absolutely, absolutely. And actually we'll talk a little bit about that, like how we met. But first, before we get ahead of ourselves, let's do the basic number one question. How did you get into Disney Lorcana?
Yes. So as most people know, I am a huge Disney nerd and Disney adult. I've been going to the parks. I don't want to say my whole life because like my parents didn't take me until I was like old enough to appreciate it and not
Sure,
a lot. But, like,
sure.
I grew up on Disney Channel, I grew up watching the movies, and I just, like, really loved everything about it. When I heard Disney Lorcana was basically happening, I figured it was just worth giving it a shot, mostly because it's all things Disney, so I figured, like, "Oh, like most things in Disney, even if I don't want to play, like maybe I can collect because I'm a Disney pin
Yep,
collector, magnets you can see behind me, like anything that's Disney merch, basically, I have in some capacity.
yep.
And I was already at the first Gen Con when Lorcana was releasing, as well as the first D23 when they did the like that first collector set, which
Wow.
was a whole fiasco for all sorts of reasons. Unfortunately, did not even end up getting a collector set, which is sad. But that's okay. We live and learn about the chaos of lines. But yeah, so basically gave it a shot, kind of went from there. Definitely started as like a way more casual player. Started going to local tournaments and kind of eventually just learned how to play and kind of climbed from there.
The rest, they say, is history,
Pretty
right?
much.
Yeah, I mean, we've obviously talked in, one of your visits down to the parks, your extensive background with Disney Lorcana, and it is very impressive, but certainly one that I love to hear because it continues to perpetuate how awesome this TCG is in that it has brought so many new players to this environment, right? Like I've never played a TCG. Again, same thing as a Disney fan. I am now competitively playing, and someone else said it, not me. Traveling the world for for cardboard,
Literally
right?
just got off a phone call with my parents, and I mentioned how, like, Brazil was coming up and then potentially Dortmund, and my
Yep.
mom goes, "You really travel the world for this?" And I'm like, "I guess yes. Here
I
we
mean,
are."
here we are, and I know we've talked about this, like, we would have never if you went back 5 years, I don't think either of us would have fathomed that we would be booking tickets to travel to Europe for anything but a vacation,
Like a
right?
true vacation.
Like a true vacation, right? Like, I believe you were telling me that you first visited Disneyland Paris because of Lille, right? Was it
Yeah.
Lille?
It was Bologna.
Bologna, there we go, there we go,
But
there we go.
yeah, basically, I ended up getting tickets for Bologna. Um, Found out that the Stockholm CCQ was the week before, and basically said, "All right, we're gonna go play in Stockholm, and then we're gonna go to Disneyland Paris because like we're already in Europe, and
Yep.
then we'll go to Bologna because like at that point, why not?" And I'm super grateful for all the opportunities, but definitely didn't expect like Disney Lorcana to be the reason that I went to Disneyland Paris. let alone wanting to go back and maybe going back in a few months.
But we accept it. That's awesome. That's awesome. So, so many opportunities for travel. Obviously, your profession allows it, and that's obviously another plus. And, it's just great to, even if I'm not traveling as much, it's great to see friends of mine being able to take those opportunities. And honestly, like, all the best, continued the best, with Brazil. And if you do go to Dortmund, like, I'm rooting for you. I have to root for you. You're a damn other Melissa. Come on, I have to root for you.
I'm trying my best out there. As as a bunch of our friends always say, it's part skill and it's also part luck. Sometimes we all have bad
Oh,
days
yeah.
or don't get there. But
Oh, 100%.
nevertheless, it's always a
100%.
great opportunity to be there with everyone.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so we might be jumping around on today's show, but let's kind of come back to when we did first meet. I'm pretty sure we kind of maybe our paths probably did cross at other things, but I
Right.
feel like the first time we were acquainted was D23, not the 2022 one, so I guess
The 24
2024?
one.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so that was fun. We were at, the after event that I guess Rebecca had put together. I think that was when
Yes,
we first started
Rebecca did
talking.
the, like, meet the developers, and it wasn't
Yep.
even meant to be meet the developers, but it turned into Pack Rush and meet the developers, which was crazy and
So
awesome.
fun.
I remember
So fun.
sitting down across from Katie, like, the lore keepers
Yes.
and Katie, and she
Yes.
goes, they're telling us to play Pack Rush, so we're gonna figure." And
And
the next
it
thing
was
you
so
know,
awesome.
Shane handed us packs, and we were Pack Rushing.
Like, what is up with all that? Like, that event, I don't even think Rebecca, to your point, knew it was gonna turn into what it did, right? The fact that Shane was there, both Ryan and Steve were there,
If I
and
remember correctly, like, even Rochelle and some of the
they
marketing
did
folks,
pass
like,
by.
came through and made
Yes.
sure to say hi.
Correct. They did pass by. And it went from just a couple of us sitting at tables to then us moving all the furniture
Yep.
so we could play Pack Rush, or, multiple player Pack Rush. It was so fun, so unexpected. I think those are the best kind of events where you just really have no idea what to expect. And you end up literally bumping shoulders with the creators of this
It was
game. Like,
so cool. And
so,
I think
so cool.
the funniest thing for me, so at that event, I was staying at, like, one of the hotels that was, like, on that road. It wasn't the
Okay.
Marriott, it
Yep.
was another one. But,
Yep.
like,
Yep.
in that, like, vicinity of basically being super close to the convention center. And one of my I call her my Disney mom. She's not really my Disney mom, but she acts like my mom because she's
Sure.
protective, and she lives in San Diego. So, like, we were doing D23 together from a pin collection perspective.
Okay, yep.
And so her name's Jen. So Jen sends me a text message and she goes, "Hey, like, my friend just messaged me. There's a bunch of people in the lobby of the Hilton. We're all pin trading. Like, come meet us." And so I walk over there and, like, I say hi to all my pin friends and very literally said, "See you guys later." Walk right, because they were in the front of the lobby, like, where the
Yes,
tables were.
yes, I
And,
remember
like, I
that.
went right past all of them and I'm like, "Oh, it's my Lorcana friends." And Jen looks at me and she goes, "You're ditching pin trading?" And she
Uh-oh.
meant it with love, but it was
Yeah.
just, she had never seen me as engaged in something that wasn't pin
Aw.
trading before, so, like, it was almost like a, like, "Oh, I'm a proud mom" moment to, like, see you have your friends and there's this thing you're doing, but she just
Aw.
didn't expect it, and I'm like, "No," I go, "It's the exact same thing you guys are doing over here." I said, "They're just on the other corner," and it kinda clicked for her, but, like, it was so
Oh.
much fun.
Yeah, no, and then obviously we got to talking,
Yes.
and I think we started talking about the D23 box, because you were opening yours, like, literally right on the spot. And, by the way, it took me a year to open mine, by the way. A year. Mine sat sealed in the bag, but neither here nor there.
Well, you
And then,
see,
yeah,
the
we just
reason I had to open it is because I wanted to play the Ursulas in my deck.
oh,
And I
that
thought,
makes sense.
right here. I mean,
I
at the
love
time,
it.
I wasn't playing dogs, but I was
Right,
still playing Emerald,
right.
and so I wanted them, and I was like,
I
"What
love it.
better time to open it than around a bunch of Lorcana people who want to see what they look like anyway?"
Yes, yes, and oh boy, those boxes. What a, experience, it was to get them that
It was
day, and
quite the experience.
it certainly was. That was a long day because that was, I think, day 1, right?
Yes.
We had gone through the whole, kind of navigating through the whole expo center to get those, collector's
I'm
boxes.
assuming similar to me, like, you were there
Yes,
bright and early and went from the
yes,
outside into the basement where they
yes,
funneled us. And I
yes,
don't
and
know, like, which line you ended up in, but my line was, like, the left side,
yeah,
and they
same.
merged us, but, like,
Yes,
far too late, and so it was just
yes.
chaos.
Oh, absolute utter chaos. I don't even know how the people that were in the front of our line were somehow able to get into the Ravensburger line, because by the time we got there, it was literally just shoulder
I
to
think I was
shoulder.
the front of your line, and it was
Yeah,
chaos. Like,
sure.
the person I was with literally got a stanchion wrapped around them
Oh my
because we were
goodness.
getting pushed and there was nowhere to go.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I, to this day, have no idea what they were thinking. They clearly knew it was popular, right? But I don't know. I hope they've learned. I hope for whatever happens this year, they've learned.
So
Are
my
you
limited
going?
understanding from conversations that I had, like,
Sure.
at the convention afterwards was that they expected chaos, but for some reason, they weren't able to basically get the same queuing system that, like, Mickey's of Glendale and Studio Store and, Employee Center had. I don't know
Gotcha.
why, I don't know how, but I know that that's what they wanted, and they were
Sure.
unable to basically get that level of
Sure.
accommodation, and so,
Huh.
unfortunately, it resulted in beyond their control, which is why the next
Sure.
day they did the bracelets, which was, like, significantly better.
Yeah. Yeah, they did quickly learn, and I do appreciate that. If nothing
Yes.
else, they quickly adjusted and they learned from, the chaos of the first day. But okay, that's fair. And hopefully, for future D23 events, they somehow have figured out a system or they start with the wristbands. So, speaking of, did are you going to this one?
Well, tickets haven't gone out yet.
Oh, but you're hoping. But you're hoping.
I would like to go.
Okay.
My personal, like, debacle right now is August is really, really busy.
Really busy.
Because, like, last weekend of July, first weekend of August is Gen Con,
Yep.
and they've announced that Gen Con is gonna have a CCQ, which means
Yep.
that if I don't get a qualification when I'm at Indy,
Indeed. Or Dortmund if you go,
then
or Brazil. Yep.
right, well, but
Well,
even
those
then,
are
it's like an
those are
NA
EU. Yeah,
qualification
yeah, yeah.
versus an EU qualification.
That's fair. That's
Um,
fair.
so, like, if I don't get an NA qualification, then I'm gonna wanna attempt to play Gen Con,
Yep.
which means that, like, the first weekend of August is already blocked.
That's true.
And then basically, I think it's 2 weeks later
Mhm.
is D23,
Yep.
which I would love to go to because, like, I mean, I've been to the last 2, and on the alternate years, I've been to the destinations in
Right.
Orlando. So, like, as a Disney fan, it's important to me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it's that, and then there's a week break, and then it's NACC back in Anaheim.
Yep. Yep.
So it's this awkward, like, am I flying to Indy and then flying to California and then flying home and then going back? Or, like, am I spending 2 weeks with my Disney mom, Jen, because she lives in California, which, like, I know I can do, but
Yep.
that's a lot of time away from home, and,
It
like,
is.
working for an East Coast company on the West Coast could be a challenge. So
Yeah.
there's a lot to figure out.
It is a
But
lot.
I can't fathom a world where I don't try and get a ticket, to say the
That's
least.
fair. That's fair. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess we'll see. Time will tell. Have they said
I
when
assume you're
tickets will
gonna
go?
try and go? Question mark?
I don't think so. I After the 2024 experience, mind you, this is now 2 D23s that I've attended.
Fair.
And I attended the one before 2022 one, and
Yes.
that one, our takeaway was kinda we're okay not going again because the whole waking up at 1 in the morning and then sleeping on concrete for 2 hours really
It's
wasn't ideal, and we're not
oh,
even
I'm
pin collectors. We're not even pin collectors, so the fact that
me neither.
I went for, like, mostly Star Wars at the time, so, like,
I was gonna
any
say the
exclusive.
first one that I went to, like, the people on either side of me on, like,
Yeah,
the first line were doll
yeah,
collectors.
there you go. Yeah, those that's
So
very
it's
popular.
like it's Disney everything.
Everything,
And quite
everything,
frankly,
everything
like,
has
I
one.
don't even know if it's Lorcana that would, like, be a driver for me to want to go, like, that's kinda just a
Agreed,
bonus, but
agreed,
I also
agreed.
don't know kind of what panels they're having or what
Right,
guests that
right.
warrant. So,
I I'm secretly hoping there's not much of a representation outside of potentially the alleged secondary D23 collection box, if that makes sense. We
yes,
have some sleuths in the content creation world that have figured we will probably get one again, in
based on
addition
promo
to
numbers, yes.
correct. So if that is the case, I am hoping they do the same thing. They release it at Disney Springs. I can stay home, save on hotel and airfare, and just wake up early and go to Disney
Yes,
Springs. And that's fine enough for me. So, on that note, I definitely am also prioritizing nationals
yeah.
registration. We've never been to Gen Con, but I would so love to go. The last, was it last year? You had the pleasure of doing some Ravensburger events.
I
So
did. It was
that
a
looked
really
like
cool
fun.
opportunity.
Let's talk a little bit about that because I think now everything's been made public as far as your activities.
Yeah, I was
Um,
gonna say I posted on my socials about, the stuff that I've done. But yeah, so I was invited, to one of there were 2 nights of content stuff. I was a
yes,
guest at one of them,
sure.
and it was essentially a preview of the puzzles before they went basically live.
Nice.
And by that, I mean, we saw them at the beginning of August, and I believe they went on sale basically 2 or 3 weeks later to the
Sure,
public.
sure, sure.
Um, but it was super cool. So it was probably there were 6 teams, so give or take like 15 to 20 content creators.
Okay.
Um, and then each team had a captain. So 5 of the 6 teams had a speed as their captain. My team did not have a speed puzzler as our captain. We had basically the project manager of puzzles from Ravensburger.
Oh,
His name was Nate. He was a super cool dude, but we were ever so slightly disadvantaged because all the
yes.
other teams had a speed puzzler. And essentially, we speed puzzled. So, like, we had a time limit and we
Oh,
all got an amber puzzle. And it was basically a contest among each of the inks to see who would get the farthest in the puzzle.
oh
But
boy.
nonetheless, it was a really fun opportunity. I was Team Steel along with
Okay.
Mr. Burns and Dan.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and then, like, we had, like, Liam and Aaron were on one of the teams, Rebecca was on one of them, the Lorcana duo, among other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was a really cool, like, both networking opportunity to interact with the other content creators, as well as meet some of the Ravensburger staff.
I
So
love that.
a lot of fun across the board, and I've puzzled before, but I've never speed puzzled. So it was certainly a unique opportunity.
So,
But
yeah, I think that sounds like awesome. Was
it
there
was.
anything
I'm
else?
super grateful to kind of
Yeah.
be invited to participate because,
Good.
quite frankly, I don't know how people get picked for these things. I got an email. They said, "I know you're going to be there. Would you like to join?" And
I love that.
we take network opportunities when we can when we can get them
We
as
sure
somebody who
do.
studied business.
We sure do. I'm so glad that you got to experience that, and it sounds like you were amongst great company. And I'm so sorry that you guys basically were at a slight disadvantage. I would say a bigger disadvantage, because I'm sure there were strategies shared amongst the other five inks
So
that
our captain did know a lot about, like, what we should and
okay,
shouldn't do, and he steered us very well.
good,
'Cause, like,
okay,
he builds them and he knows how all of it works. It was just
That's
the
fair.
joke of the day was, "Oh, Team Steel didn't get the speed puzzler on their team." Um, but none of the teams finished our puzzles anyway in the time limits that we had.
What?
Well, we didn't
Oh
have that
my.
long. I
Oh, how long?
forget I forget if we had 90 minutes or what it was, but whatever time we had was clearly not enough, especially if you remember when JD did his live of the puzzle. Um,
It First of all, um, they had the Amber puzzle, at least when I went in the
yeah,
fan experience, and you were there. You and I did
yeah,
it at the
I
same
was there
time.
with you. We were doing it.
And the Amber puzzle once again was there. I don't know if it haunts your dreams, but
It
it
does.
certainly haunts mine now. Um, all of the easy parts were already done. So by the time we joined, I'm just going, what am I staring at? I
Yeah,
felt so inadequate. And I actually was just excited to connect three puzzles together, three pieces together. And that was my contribution to the puzzle. God only knows where in the puzzle it went. I just found three little, and they went together.
it's funny because when
Um,
we were doing it, like the first kind of task was edges
uh-huh.
versus not edges.
Correct. Correct.
And
Correct.
then our captain Nate basically said, "Okay, we need to put characters
That
together."
makes sense.
And
That makes
so we
sense.
essentially said like, "Okay, like Melissa's gonna build Minnie Mouse and so is gonna
Sure.
build this one." And
Sure.
at one point, we basically had a bunch of these like little pieces, but to
Little,
your point,
yeah,
nobody knew where the pieces
where,
went with the
yeah.
whole thing. Um,
Ugh,
but
90
nonetheless, it was
minutes.
a lot of fun. I
Oh, I
could be
bet.
wrong. I'm not positive it was 90.
Sure,
It was
sure.
either like 90 or 2 hours. Whatever it wasn't enough time.
It wasn't enough, and you had at least 4 people to a team?
Each
Is that right?
team was 3 content creators
And
and
1.
1 captain.
Okay.
And
Okay, so
then so there were 5 of our teams, and then 1 team was Ravensburger staff.
oh,
Like,
okay, okay, okay.
not puzzle people, just
I
like
got you.
staff who were there.
I got you, I got you. Okay, okay. Oh, wow. Okay, so, I mean, that just
It
goes to
was a
show.
really fun opportunity.
Sure. No, I think the biggest takeaway was you guys were all glad to be there. You guys, regardless
For
of whether anyone, like, there was a clear winner or not, the opportunities and the exposure to this new product was far greater than actually completing the puzzle, I'm sure.
And, I know, like, myself and a bunch of other people basically made, like, reels and videos that
Yeah.
when the product went live and we were
Right.
allowed to share them, like, went onto
Right.
our social. So I have a reel basically showing from start to finish, like,
I love
this
that.
is what the day was like, this is what
Yeah.
happened, just
That's
to
awesome.
recap and kind of push people to
Yeah.
purchase or learn more about it, which is
Right,
awesome.
right. No, that's awesome, and I know that's obviously why they do these things because they wanna
Exactly.
be able to market it and make sure it goes out to the appropriate audience, so that's
Yeah.
awesome. I surely hope, like, everybody I know that went to Gen Con had so many great things to talk about it from a content creation standpoint, so whatever they plan on doing this year, I'm hopefully hoping for whoever gets the opportunity that this happens again, right? Like
For
the
sure.
opportunities and the marketing and the invites and all that jazz, because I feel like sometimes Gen Con gives us more from a like introduction of Disney Lorcana than ironically D23. Um, I don't know
In
how
a
that
lot
makes
of
sense.
ways so I think it kinda depends, like, who's the audience and what are you doing? Because, for
Fair.
example, when I was at Gen Con, there were learn to plays that you could do. It was the first time
Mm.
we were all introduced to collection quests. Like,
Oh,
we
that's true.
had an activity that
That's
you
true.
signed up for and you got a ticket for
Yeah.
that very literally was, "Hey, here's a pack. You're gonna open it and you're gonna
Yeah.
trade," which we also, like, had videos on TFM and elsewhere of us
Yeah.
doing the collection quests because
Right.
that was another kind of cool thing that we got to do, and from a
Yeah.
competitor standpoint, like, I played in a bunch of sealed and a bunch of draft and 3-round core tournaments where if you go undefeated, you get the playmat,
Right.
which is, like, a cool opportunity because you get those
Yes.
competitive players, but then,
Yes.
again, you can do a learn to play for somebody who's newer to the game. Whereas at D23, you have the booth from a sales perspective, but you don't at least thus far, we
Yeah,
haven't really seen gameplay and kind of
correct.
engagement in that respect outside
Correct.
of meeting Steve or Ryan and taking your picture, which is a
Yep.
super cool opportunity. And I definitely took advantage of that.
That was fun because it was Shane, Ryan, and Steve, and then it was a few of the artists. So I think Nicholas Cole was there.
Yes, he was there.
Um and oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank on the others, but I remember
Was
that. That was
Grace
that was
there?
fun. It was
I don't
it
remember.
was that the artist, whoever did the Sorcerer Mickey, uh
Ooh,
was
let's see if I can
there.
find that.
Yes, please do. Um
Which the one that was the promo card
yes.
or the Wayward Sorcerer?
No, the Sorcerer Mickey promo
The
card.
Playful Sorcerer, the steel
Playful
one.
Sorcerer. Yep.
So Playful Sorcerer Steel was Alice Tassone. Yes, it was Alice.
Alice. Alice, there we go. And there may have been one other. I feel so bad. It's been a minute.
But I wasn't
Um,
able to get in those lines because I
oh
was in a different line.
no.
So, like, I saw
Oh,
people meeting them, but by the time I got over there, they had capped those lines because
oh,
Disney is I mean, it's not Disney if there's not a line, right?
oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah, and those you had to line up early. I remember we
Yes,
missed it on one day and I was like, nope, whatever it is we're doing on the last day, this is priority number
this is what
one
you're
because
doing.
I'm
Yeah,
not missing this. But yeah, so a lot of conventions, a lot of events coming up. That's all very exciting. Hopefully, whichever ones, either of us or both of us are able to go to, obviously will be a fun time had by all. It's always a pleasure
for
to see
sure.
you. And so let's see, we talked about, upcoming DLCs. Let's talk about just, wherever you kind of want to start because you have been doing so well with this game, and I would be remiss if we didn't necessarily talk about your competitive successes. So, I feel like one of your first success stories was when you won the Elsa Enchanted, right?
It
And I
was,
believe
yes.
you've won a few of them that way.
I
Is that
won
true?
2 Enchanted Elsas in back-to-back tournaments.
Some people don't even own one Elsa Enchanted, and you've got two. Like,
I
that is
do.
such a flex.
It certainly was unexpected, to say the least. In the first tournament, I was in it was a cut to top 8, I wanna say. I don't remember how many
Uh-huh.
people were there. It
Okay.
wasn't small, but it wasn't
Sure.
overly large, if that makes
Sure.
sense.
Yeah.
Um, and, like, I had lost 2 rounds in Swiss, so it was unclear if I would end up even hitting the top 8, and I
Got it.
squeaked in at either 7th or 8th. I'd have to go back and look, but, like, I was low seed,
Sure,
basically.
sure.
And the first round of the top cut is revenge on the person who I had just played and lost to.
Oh boy.
It was another girl, super nice person,
Yeah.
and she was running like a specie special, as I like you kind of know what that means.
Yes, yes.
Uh, but
Uh,
this was like set 3 meta. So
oh.
it was Emerald Steel,
Okay, okay.
but it was using like the Helga Sinclair.
Oh boy.
And, like, there was a lot of nonsense going on,
Oh
and I was
boy.
playing Ruby Am,
Yep.
because we love Ruby
Yes.
Am, I know you do
Yes.
too.
Yes.
But at this point, I at least came around to understanding the matchup better since we played 3 games, went to 3
Right.
games, and it was, like, 1-2.
Right.
Um, we play again, I'm on the draw, but I'm able to get through and move on to top 4, and
Nice.
in top 4, I pair into another person who I had lost
Okay.
to in Swiss. It was my other
Oh boy.
loss.
Oh
I
boy.
forget what they were running. It might have been like Ruby Emerald Mufasa.
Interesting. Okay.
Think I'm not positive. It was
Ruby
something
Emerald?
random, like Mufasa builds, because Mufasa builds were cool.
Oh, Ruby Amber. I heard
Ruby Am.
Emerald.
I'm so
Okay,
sorry.
okay.
So I did say I definitely said that, but I didn't mean it. But they were playing a Ruby Mufasa deck because like
Fair,
that was
fair.
all the rage in sets 2 and 3. People
Correct.
enjoyed that.
Yes. Yes.
And again, I have a bit better of an understanding of how their deck works since I had played it during Swiss, and I'm able to
Sure.
kind of take that win, and so I'm now in top like winning top 4 going into the finals. and I pair into this person who I would run into in tournaments all of the time, and, like, we both know each other as somebody who we never wanna play because like, you're both really good.
Yep.
And he was running a Emerald Amethyst build, but, like, this is set 3
Yeah.
when I don't even remember what was in it.
Yeah.
It was basically like they should have beaten me because they were the faster deck. Like, they were
That makes
more
sense.
aggressive than a
That
Ruby
makes sense.
Am.
Yep.
And, like, we go to 3 games, and it's super back and forth, and I end up taking it,
Wow.
and I find out when I'm done, so the person's friend was, like, watching from behind, and he comes up to me, and he goes, "You know you could have won a turn earlier, right?" Like, I just
Oh,
completely
boy.
missed the line that would have given me the
Oh,
because, like, there was, like, a goat bounce something that I could have
there.
done.
Yep.
It was not traditional, it would have been awkward, but I could have
Sure.
done it, and I didn't.
Sure, sure.
Spoilers, it didn't matter, I ended up winning anyway.
Good.
But the person came up to me and he goes, "I never would've, like I would have felt so bad to not tell you because I know
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
an opportunity," sort of thing.
Aw,
Um,
that's
and then,
awesome.
like, I went to dinner because there was, like, a pub in the plaza with, like, 2 of my friends who also played in the tournament, and it's like, "Yay," like, I did it, and it was super exciting. And then, like, a few weeks later, we get everyone announces the Stitch Set Championships. And I'm sure with you being in Orlando, it was, like, all the craze for that 10-day
Oh my
period.
goodness. Oh my goodness. What was it, a full week? It was
We
it
basically
was
had, like, a Friday to a
to a
Sunday.
Saturday, yeah, something like that. Oh my
So, like, you
goodness.
basically had a week plus 2 days, give or
Yep.
take.
Oh boy,
Um,
a back to back to back to back set champs.
yes,
Yep.
and I'm sure for you guys, it was probably even crazier, like, you probably had something every night you coulda played in or did
We
play in.
could've. We didn't. I think we skipped a couple days, but I actually wanted to. If it weren't for the fact that they cost money and time, yeah, we
I
would
was
have done
gonna say
everything other.
time, money, and work can
Yep.
conflict.
Yep. Yep.
But, basically, it was 2 weeks before set champs were starting. And one of our other local stores basically said, "Hey, we're running an Enchanted Elsa tournament, like, use it as your practice for set champs." And I was like,
Sure.
twist my arm. Okay. And I remember walking into the room and, like, somebody just looks at me and they're like, "You're here?" I'm like, "Why not?" They're like, "Well, you already
Oh,
won it, Elsa. Like, you're gonna win another one?" I'm like, "Why not? Like, you wanna win it, I wanna win it. What's your point?"
what, like it's hard?
It was just funny, like, the demeanor, it wasn't rude,
No, I know, I'm sure it wasn't.
and I start, like, going through the gauntlet again. I end up being in a position where, like, in the last round, I'm able to ID into top cut, yada, yada, yada. We played the whole thing out. Ironically, we were playing in a church, um, and the church had to close. So,
What?
very literally, the finals, we had to leave the church and go to the store who was hosting the tournament. But, like, the store was super small, so they couldn't hold everybody. So we
Sure,
had to wait
sure.
until it was the finals because they only
That
had 2
makes sense.
tables.
That makes sense.
Um,
Wow.
and so, like, I remember we leave the venue, it's only 5 minutes away, driving from the church to the store, and I
Sure.
know at this point that I'm in the finals, I'm Ruby Amethyst, and my opponent's on Emerald Steel with,
Okay.
like, Bucky nonsense. I don't think Diablo existed yet, if I remember correctly.
No, he was the next up.
Right? Diablo was the following set?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, but, like, we had Bucky shenanigans with
Yep.
Discard and Prince John,
Yep.
and I'm thinking to myself, "I really dislike this matchup, but I know what I need to do to beat it."
Yes. Yes.
And
Ink and pass. Ink
yes.
and pass and pray for
Well, we
deep prep.
took those so that we can refill our hand and now
There we
swords.
go. There you go.
This wasn't the ink pass meta because Diablo didn't
You're right.
exist.
You're right. It was the Diablo meta that we had to do that.
But it was a similar strategy basically of I need to make sure that I can keep the cards that I want and get to
Yep.
7 so that if I find my Be Prepared, I can do the things.
Yep.
And one thing led to another. We go to 3 games and I end up getting there. And I was like on cloud 9 because not only did
Aw.
I win another one, but like it was a matchup that I didn't feel comfortable in and was just very nervous about.
Wow.
So it was exciting.
That's amazing. So it seems like and this is of no shock to me, but I love to hear the fact that you can, if you put, practice to it, you can pretty much play any combination, right? You've talked about, winning a couple Elsas with Ruby Amethyst. You mentioned that you had played I think you said Emerald at one point.
I
And then obviously
did.
we know you've done Amber, Emerald, Dogs, as we colloquially call it. And obviously you teared your with Amethyst Steel at one stint. So like I don't want to call you a jack of all trades because I feel like that takes away from
It
your
took a
mastery.
really long time to get there, is what I'll say.
But hello, this game is 2.5 years old, and the fact that, if you compare, we started around the same time. You've been
Right.
exposed more to competitive than I have. I will go ahead and admit that. But, like, the fact that you can take a deck or in combos and, like, get there through discipline, practice, whatever, there are some combos that I'm like, "I'm never gonna touch in my life because that's just not my play style." And I don't know about you, and you could tell me, but it just seems like you're like, "All right, if this is it, I'm gonna learn it, and I'm gonna, do good by it." So tell
So
me about that.
it it took until Diablo for me to play
Ah,
anything else. I was so when I first started playing, like, before it was more competitive, so to speak,
sure,
I was playing Amber, Emerald, aggro, so to speak.
sure.
Like,
Oh,
we had the Ward Cusco, we
the
had the 2
Cusco,
Quester
yeah.
Maleficent ones, then we had Malsork to replace herself,
Yep.
and so I was that was my first deck, was
So
green
you
purple.
were the drop 1 Lilo turn to Simba bodyguard, you were
Well, no,
those?
no, no, it was green purple.
Green, purple. Oh, okay, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Okay, so that's why you said
amethyst, emerald.
Maleficent. Okay, fair, fair, fair.
And so I was doing that and eventually saw that we had those results from that first, Pro Play Games tournament, where I believe it was basically Amber Steel and Ruby Am were, like, the 2 most performing decks, or maybe it was the
Yep,
finals, I forget.
yep.
Um, and one thing led to another, and I decided I was going to learn Ruby Amethyst and play Elsa.
There you go. That's fair. That's fair.
And so I basically played that pretty exclusively in sets 1, 2, and 3.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
at the beginning of set 4 with Ursula's return, I was still playing Ruby Am. I brought Ruby Am to Chicago,
Chicago? Okay.
and I was 1 win shy of hitting, like, the threshold, which was kind of
Dang.
and but
Oh.
sorry, to be clear, I was 1 win shy of getting a Let It Go, not day 2ing.
Um,
But for me, that was still a huge, like, we
yeah,
almost got there.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
I was annoyed because it was a 1,000 person tournament and I was 101. So top
Yeah.
64 got Let It Goes, but in my head, I tricked myself thinking I was gonna get it, and then I didn't.
Oh,
But it's okay.
yeah,
I concluded that Ruby Am was not, even though it also wasn't it because we had Bucky and all these annoying cards. And
oh
Ruby
yeah,
Saf was even starting to do well at that point. Um,
yeah.
and I started playing set champs like later that season, and I took Ruby Am and I got to top 8, and then I lost to a Sapphire Steel. Ironically
Mm.
to Orion, who's now on my team, but we weren't teammates
Oh,
or friends at
interesting. Fair enough, fair enough.
But, like, we were at a set champ because we were both like, he's Rhode Island, I was in Boston, and paths crossed, and we got there,
Sure.
and I was frustrated. I'm like, "I can't get there. I want to get there." And so then the next tournament, I took a Sapphire Steel build too, and again, I top 8'd, but not top 4'd, and you needed top 4 at that point.
Yep,
And I went on this basically like, "I don't know what I'm doing, I need to figure this out because Texas is coming up in 1 to 2 months, and
yep,
I want to do better. I want to get a Let It Go,
yeah.
and decided to learn Amber Steel.
Oh,
And I sat in our team testing house the day
huh.
before Texas for basically 24 hours with Mr. Burns behind me teaching me Amber Steel.
No way.
I had Mr. Burns sitting there teaching it to me. And then I had the peanut gallery that is my teammates who I love, all who have their own opinions on how to play
Of
Amber Steel.
course. Of course.
Because, like, some people want to be more controlly, some people want to be more aggressive, some people say, if you don't have Baby Robin, you should keep Big Robin. Some people say opposites, and I'm like, "Guys, I just need to learn."
Yes. Oh, boy.
Anyway, I basically spent, like, 24 to 48 hours learning Amber Steel, and then I
Wow.
did get a Let It Go in Texas with Amber Steel, which was
Congrats.
great.
That's
Um,
awesome.
so
That's
that's when
awesome.
I concluded that, okay, I can learn other decks, and it's gonna be okay, and I don't have to just play Ruby Amethyst all the time.
That's
Um,
awesome. That's awesome.
and then obviously as time went on, it was Texas, and then it was Toronto.
Toronto. Yep.
Toronto, I played Amber Steel again.
Oh, wow, okay.
Toronto was okay. I didn't do my best. I was afraid to play Diablo. Like I was like, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. It's not
Sure.
fun. I don't like playing
Sure.
against it. I don't want to do it.
Sure.
Hindsight, certainly a mistake, but we live and learn.
I mean,
And eventually I taught myself with the help of my teammates to play Emerald Steel, which I did fine with. Definitely won a
sure.
bunch of set champs and other things. And then I pretty much jumped on Amethyst Steel between Seattle and LCQs
That sounds about right. That sounds about
because
right.
it was a fun deck. It was
Yeah.
performing well. I really liked my stakes and my rabbits being a Ruby
Yeah.
Am like main,
Yep.
but Ruby Am felt slower to me. And at the
Yes.
time, I knew that wasn't it,
Yeah. Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
And so I went on the kick of playing Amethyst Steel, which is then where I had done well at the Southside Gaming Tournament and a bunch of other like set champs and other events. And then jumped back around. As soon as Lady and the Tramp got announced, you bet your butts that I was playing that whether or not it was good. I mean, from the person who has Durable here
Oh,
and Durables here that sit on my
I
desk.
love it.
Like, it's my favorite
I
movie.
love
I
it.
didn't care if the deck was good or not. So then when the deck got
Oh,
good, it was like extra exciting.
that's amazing. And it's so funny to think that way that you're like, wow, I know I'm a competitive player and whether this becomes meta or not, I'm sticking to these because as we know, there really isn't many franchises that you could do that with, right? Like
There really
collect
isn't.
collectively, like we could kind of argue, okay, most Aladdin cards are pretty good, right? But they're not all in what like two color pairings that you could say, all right, this is good, right? And the same thing goes for Beauty and the Beast and whatnot, right? So to say most of your Lady and the Tramp can get you there is just it's wild to
Like,
think.
I tried to make that deck good in set 7 when we only had half of the Duel Link cards, and we didn't even
Like
know we were getting more.
more,
Um,
that's true.
and then, like, set 8 got announced, and then we found out there were more cards, and then, like, I tried to make the deck work, but Amber Steel
Yeah,
was still really, really good,
yeah,
and
yeah,
Amber Steel would just, like, destroy the game
yeah,
plan of what
yeah.
the deck was trying to do at the time.
That's fair.
Um,
That's fair.
and so, like, I would play it. It was
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
Um, Steve Jack, who isn't as active right now, but at the time
sure.
was, basically, like, popularized it more so, and I was like, "See, I'm not the only one playing this." And then, like, him and I were working on it for a really long time, and then
Yeah,
when Fable Meta came around and we had rotation, I was determined that it was still gonna be a good deck because Sisu didn't exist anymore.
right, right.
Sisu can't hurt me and wipe my board anymore, so therefore the deck has to be good, right?
Sisu and grab your swords, the two
Yeah,
biggest enemies of dogs, basically, and they
exactly,
no longer exist.
and they don't exist, so therefore I'm gonna make it work. And I kept playing, and I decided that it's what I was gonna bring to Stockholm, where I top 32'd. Unfortunately, I lost to Blurple at that CCQ, which was
Ah, blurple.
it was super frustrating because in set 9, you were super favored as Amethyst Steel
Yes,
or sorry,
yes,
as dogs,
yes, yes, yes,
into Blurple, but a
yes.
series of bad draws put me 1 turn behind, basically.
Darn.
My opponent's a great player too and was super, super nice. I've seen him at other tournaments, in, like,
Fair.
Bologna and Ghent since then. But yeah,
Okay,
I
okay.
decided, like, the deck's strong, I can play it well, and Bologna's next week, and I'm going to Disneyland Paris and not thinking about cards for 4 days, so
Good for
I'm just
you.
gonna play it.
There you go.
And
There
that
you go.
brought me to 79th, 9 and 3, so can't
Wow.
complain.
No, not at all. That's an amazing run, honestly. Congrats on all of
Yes.
that. Question, because I know we're getting very close to rotation. And I'm assuming you're not looking forward to the fact that basically some of your, if not most of your deck, goes by the wayside, at least core constructed wise.
Yeah.
Um, that is for a later time, right? Because we obviously have no idea what that meta is going to look like. So we'll
Right,
we'll leave those hypotheticals there. But let me ask you this, because I know as of recently there have been some tweaks to the dogs deck.
right.
So I'm curious, are you pro Chromacon or not Chromacon?
For those of you who know me, I'm the biggest ChromaCon hater on earth. Um, I so I played the ChromaCon in Stockholm as
Okay,
I
okay,
might have played 1 or 2 of. I
okay,
played it,
okay.
and very literally was the reason that I lost to Blurple, and I was fuming
No, because they could use it
because
against you.
so long story short, I set up a super aggro board, I set up a tramp 7, I get to keep 1 card.
Yeah.
And I decided to keep Lady 5 because
Okay.
I had
Okay.
my shift targets down.
Yep.
I was
Yep.
only on 2 ink.
Yep.
And I said to myself,
Oh.
so I was only on 2 ink, but I said to myself, I've tramped, I've seen my cards, I trust my deck. I drew Chromacon for turn. So my hand was Lady 5 with 2 ink and a Chromacon. I couldn't play either.
You couldn't.
I draw the next turn and I drew another uninkable. And eventually I draw the ink and I'm able to do the things I want to do, but I was 1 turn too
You
slow.
were you were too slow.
Well, I just
Oh.
needed either of those 2 turns, and it's a decision that I made. I got punished for the decision I made. We live and learn. But it was in my head, it was Chromacon's fault. That's not necessarily true, but I drew an uninkable and a card that I didn't want to see. So therefore, it was
Ouch.
girl math.
Okay.
And,
Okay, fair enough. Okay.
um,
Okay.
anyway, I go to Disneyland Paris, I then go to Bologna, I sit with TFM for 2 days, we're playing games. I basically sit with Alex Chaotic,
Sure, sure.
exclusively playing Dogs versus Amber Steel. Because everybody,
Wow.
we need to learn this matchup, even though you're the
Yeah.
only one who's playing dogs. I'm like, okay.
Fair
So
enough.
we play like an entire day, and every time I would see the Chromacon, it was bad. So I ended up switching it for another Under the Sea.
Oh,
An
okay.
uninkable
Okay.
card. So to
Yeah.
the point that it was the uninkable's fault, it still would have been
Sure.
an uninkable card. Um,
Sure, sure, sure.
but concluded that it was better into the meta and everything. So
Okay.
I had taken it
Okay.
if you look at Dan's deck from when he topped in
Yep.
Milwaukee, that was
Yep.
inspired off the list that I had played, also didn't run Chromacon because we said we don't need.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now I will say in the current meta, you 100% need Chromacon.
Oh, okay.
And I ran the Chromacon when I played the Inking CCQ. I then tested without the Chromacon after Sailor 1,
Yep. Yep.
and then tested again with it and concluded going into Ghent that
Yep.
I needed to play it. Um,
Okay.
spoilers, Zan, who won the whole thing, was playing Chromacon.
Oh,
And
yeah, he
Zan's
was.
opponent in the super finals, I don't remember his name, so I'm not going to try and say it.
Sure, sure.
Uh, that person also was running Chromacon.
Okay. Okay. So
So
ChromaCon, yes.
there's a lot of data showing that Chromacons are beneficial right now and are kind of like a necessary evil.
Fair enough.
So I am still playing Chromacon.
Okay. All right. And just maybe perhaps a quick yes or no, because I think this card is really cheeky. The Mickey, the Amber
It is
Champion,
very
yay or
good.
nay? Good. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
it's
Yeah.
very good.
Good, good, good. Yeah, because I remember seeing that in Richmond.
Yeah.
And I I was like, "Wait, what?" "What do you mean this is gonna mess my math up?" Like, like everything
It's
else.
That's
Oh,
exactly it.
yeah.
It's a bodyguard that's not a bodyguard
Yep,
because it's
yep.
protecting.
Oh,
Um,
so good. Good, good. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So obviously we've talked a lot about your different tournaments. You've played like every single color combination. Is there on personal principle a color combination you refuse to play, or you're just like, no, I'll play whatever if it means I have to win?
so I used to say I'll never play Sapphire.
Okay.
I
Okay.
I didn't like it. I didn't like Ramp. It didn't click in my head. I
Same.
tried it for a while. I played Ruby Sapphire in some tournaments, but well, not high stakes tournaments, but like in
Sure.
events.
Sure.
I did fine, but I found myself in positions where I was making decisions, and because of ink decisions I made, it punished me later. And
Sure.
having so much ink was just like a lot of anxiety, and it wasn't for me. Um, since then, I've been challenged by my team to
Of
play
course.
Sapphire Amethyst. I ran it at a set champs last season, and lost in top 4, which was
Ah.
fine.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. I beat the person in
Sure.
Swiss. He was on Amethyst Steel. He had, like, the perfect set of draws, and I looked at
Sure.
him because he's a local player who I know as he did it, and I said, "If you draw exactly dock into strength, you're just the best and you deserve to win," and that's exactly what happened. I
Wow,
looked at
when the
him, he ran
docs do the thing.
it was just, like, the perfect string where I had put 2, like, Hades 7s out, so, like, I ramped him, which you have to
Sure.
do,
Yep,
but
yep.
he was basically able to get 6 wide, find the strength, and then I was 1 lore short of winning.
Oh, oh,
And
well, yeah,
hey,
I mean,
I looked at him and I said, "I betrayed the deck I wanted to play, and that's why you won, and it's okay."
fair enough. Fair enough.
He
Okay,
went on to
alright,
win the
well,
whole tournament, so, like, it's fine.
okay,
Um, but yes, it's Sapphire, I would say. More specifically, I'm less into playing, like, Sapphire Emerald
okay,
than
okay,
Sapphire Amethyst. I think Sapphire Amethyst plays a lot like Ruby Am used to,
fair,
um, and so I don't mind that as much,
okay,
but I don't like the top end Emerald cards, that's not
fair.
my jam.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. I agree with you on the sapphire part, and I agree also on the ramp. Now, with rotation coming up, this will be very interesting to see because sapphire loses its ramp identity for the most part,
Yes.
unless they introduce more. And I, Ravensburger, I know you've already created the next like 5 sets, but please, can we not with a sapphire ramp? Like, can we just have a time where sapphire literally plays an actual 2 drop character that
See,
doesn't
it's
ramp
so
them?
funny though because, like, I'm sitting here the other day I did Alter Academy with J-Bomb talking about
Uh-huh.
dogs, um,
Okay.
and if you watch that video, or anyone
Uh-huh.
who does, you'll see that I tell them over and over again that it's Willow or bust. So, like, without being Team Ramp, I am Team Ramp.
You are team ramp. You're team lantern, basically. Team
Kind of,
lantern on a
because
body.
well, because people look at me and they're like, "Well, don't you keep your Tramp 7?" And I said, "You can't keep your Tramp 7 if you don't have the Willow, because
That's
then you
fair.
might have to ink it."
Yep.
And
Yep.
somebody else got back to me and they said, "I listened to what you said and like, played a few more games, like, at
Sure.
locals," and they said, "And it gave me such a different perspective."
That's fair. Yep. Because
So, like, as
she's
much as
one
I wanna
less.
hate on Ramp, I
Yeah.
love Willow, and so I can't hate on Ramp.
That's fair. That's fair. Because at least for the combinations for Tramp, she's not only a character body, but she gives that one less, so the math is in your
Exactly. So,
favor.
like,
So
she's just double
yeah.
helping,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. Okay. All right. I'll give it to you. But if I can argue the opposite of this argument, she's beneficial, but she's not end all be all. Right? Or would you disagree with that? Like, if you don't have her on 2, are you automatically thinking you're going to lose like a sapphire missing ramp?
You're not automatically losing, but it does put you at a significant
Pretty.
disadvantage.
Okay.
Like, you want to alter pretty aggressively to find
Sure.
it, because
Okay.
essentially having the willow, if you hit a perfect line,
Yeah.
enables you to sing Under the Sea on your turn, either 3 or 4.
Okay.
You
So it's
can
kind
sing
of
it
like
on your
fair. So it's like
yeah.
steel. You want to get that 3 drop to then sing strength, basically.
Kind
That's
of.
on
It's like
curve, kind of.
basically instead of playing a 1 drop and then a 1 drop and a 2 drop, it enables you to play a 1 drop, a 2 drop, and a 1
2 drop
drop.
and a 1 drop. Yep.
And if
Yep.
that 1 drop and that other 1 drop are lady and tramp, and
Yeah.
then you shift a lady, you're
Yep.
already at figure 8.
Yep. That's true.
So it
Oh,
can kind of ruin a lot of things on the spot.
fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Well, thank you for all of that amazing
Of
insight
course.
on your amazing Disney Lorcana journey. I can't believe it's literally almost been a full hour of us talking.
I know. We didn't even talk
But
about Ghent.
yeah, we didn't talk about Ghent. Oh my goodness, we didn't even talk. You know what? Let's bring that up real quick. So we obviously both went. And with that, I competed on Friday, if we want to call it that, and you
You it's
competed.
technically competing.
I took a deck. We'll leave it there. And then you competed on Saturday with dogs, I
Yes.
believe,
Correct.
correct?
I did.
Okay. And then you didn't unfortunately make day 2, but you
Right.
played a side event.
I did. I played the basically 6-round core competitive event on Sunday as quote unquote redemption.
And
I did go undefeated, which was great.
woo!
Was 6-0, so 6 games, which meant I got 3,000 tickets,
There you go.
which was great
So
because at the end of the day, I wanted to redeem things on the prize wall.
good. So finally, because I saw you and you're like, I still don't even know what to buy yet. So what did you end up getting at
I
Ghent?
ended up getting a bunch of Let It Goes.
Oh, you know what? I don't blame you. This was part of the reason why I chose to do the VIP and Steven the Premium because it guaranteed us let it goes. Because I had 0 prior to Ghent
Same.
because they
Yes.
ran out
He ran out in
at
Richmond. It was the whole
yes,
thing.
the whole thing.
Right, and if I recall correctly, being VIP, you essentially got, like, 1 non-foil of, like,
Correct.
the
Everything.
4 or
Yeah.
5, whatever it was.
Yeah, so, actually, where are they? They're literally right here. Okay, here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so
Yeah,
all 6, and the reason I have them readily available, and you people, I should say you the audience will know, I'm actually recording that, review literally
that
today
makes
as
sense.
well. So, yeah, so we got all of them in the VIP, and then premium got the Let It Go and the Dragonfire, which both ironically were out of stock in Richmond. So I was very excited to
Good.
find out that if anything else, these were both available and we would get at least 2 of in Ghent.
Which is good because there's 2 of you, so therefore you each have them
Yes.
for the collection.
Exactly. I'm the collector. He's just plays like
No,
anything
I
he
get it.
wins goes to me. But yeah, you get it. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
But Ghent. So overall, this is your second Europe
correct.
DLC. Well, DLC. You've
Yeah,
played at least 3 times competitively in Europe,
correct.
right?
Yes.
So I got this question asked like, did I find any differences? I was on Vox Lorcana and they asked me, did you find any differences or what was any stark differences? I didn't find it many outside of just kind of operational stuff. And then, of course, we were going to have the occasional foreign language Disney Lorcana cards, right?
Yeah.
So, in your experience, DLC or not, have you seen any stark differences? What has been like your overall comparison?
So there's a couple things, and I think I agree with most of what you said.
Okay.
The most obvious and kind of glaring in your face one is
Yeah.
just language barrier.
Yeah.
Spoilers, that's part of the reason I played in the Stockholm CCQ
Makes
was
sense.
like
Makes sense.
my own anxiety was
Sure.
I'm afraid to play in a country where not everybody speaks the same language as me. And
Right.
if I do it for the first time in a DLC, it's
Right.
probably just not great for my mentality and my mental health.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
So
Yep.
playing a week before in a smaller room, but again, still another country kind of gives
Yeah.
me exposure to it without
Yeah.
the stakes were still high. It was a
Sure.
CCQ, but it was different stakes.
Of course.
And I'll
Yeah.
admit, like in Stockholm, I didn't play many people who didn't speak English.
Sure.
Did it's Stockholm. They
Yeah.
predominantly like, a lot of them just speak English,
Yep.
but in Bologna, at least 3 of my 12 opponents really didn't speak English.
Right.
I had somebody who's and no shame to this person at all, like, they basically exclusively spoke Spanish,
Okay, okay.
and they were playing Amber Steel, and they had a rhino down, a big
Uh-huh.
rhino,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I had a little lady in '03, something else. I was wide enough that when I played a baby tramp, it
Yeah.
buffed my lady to swing
To
into
take
rhino.
out the rhino. Yep,
But
yep.
I went to do this, and my
And he
opponent was just confused.
sure.
And he just looks at me, and I speak a little enough Spanish that, like, I could
Yeah,
basically say uno plus uno plus cuatro equals
yeah,
cinco
yeah.
challenge rhino, and he
Right, right.
like, he nodded his head and said, "Sí." But it was just that awkwardness of
Yes.
we don't speak the same language, so we have to figure this out.
Yeah.
And even in Ghent, both in the main event and the Sunday event, I had to call a judge once or twice because we just
Mm,
didn't speak the same language, and
mm.
they didn't understand that the Dellas basically shrinks the strength. They
Got it,
thought
got it.
that it was she didn't understand that it had nothing to do with the resist, and she was, like, trying to say
Ah.
something to do with the resist, and therefore it didn't apply. And
Mm.
I called the judge didn't speak that person's language, they got
Oh,
another
boy.
judge who translated, and it was all fine and all was good.
Sure,
But
sure.
it's just one of those things that you have to be aware of and be comfortable with because it was no shame to them or me, we just
Yeah.
couldn't converse with each other.
Correct,
And
correct.
it
Yeah.
wasn't just us, like, you could see it everywhere.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so I think that was kind of the most glaring. I played against a lot of chefs. Chef is Doc in German, which is so cool. I want Doc to
Oh! Oh!
there's chefs and there's profs, and they're so cool. I
Interesting.
also played against lots of Klobots and Susies because Lady and Tramp in other languages. And,
I
like,
love
the
that.
fangirl in me was like, "I need to see this in every language, this is the coolest thing ever."
That is cool. Oh, wow.
Like, it was neat, and it was
Yeah.
never an issue, but, like, I would look at it and my opponent's like, "Are you good?" I'm like, "No, I'm just excited." They're like, "Oh, yeah, you can look." They're like, "It's all good."
Aw.
And, like, by the same
I love
logic, when
that.
I play like, my deck is enchanted and foiled.
Yeah.
So when I
Yeah,
play
yeah.
enchanted ladies, some of them would look at mine and be like, "Oh, wow, it's so pretty." So it was like a cool correspondence.
Oh, I love
Fanfinity,
that.
I thought was fantastic. I don't know if you had any interactions with them, but ran a very smooth tournament. Everything was by the books and, like, awesome.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
the only negative I have, and I think this is a European thing, is
Sure.
there's no water refill stations. As
Oh my
somebody who
gosh.
carries water everywhere I go.
That was certainly the conversation, ironically, not around the watering hole, for every single American that I talked to at Ghent. And I
Yes.
actually found out the tap water is just as safe, if not safer, than bottled water
So they
in
told me
in
that, but, like, it still grosses me out to fill my water bottle in the bathroom sink.
Oh, 100%. You don't need to explain it to us, North Americans, right? Like,
Yeah.
I get you. And I told them, and I like kind of like argued it back, not argued it, but you know what I mean? Like I rationalized, I'm like,
Yes.
you got to realize mentally for us, it's a mental thing, right?
Yeah.
It's basically the equivalent of saying, hey, drink out of the same thing that you shower or wash your hands in. Does
Right.
not seem very sanitary, right? Like, so for them to say tap water is safer, I'm like, I'll take that water bottle.
Yeah, but that was, I think, honestly, I'd
Fair,
say the biggest thing.
fair.
Otherwise, like, the people
Same.
were all really kind, everyone
Yeah.
was super cordial, respectful, and
Yes.
the judge staff
Yes.
were fantastic. I mean, the judge staff
Yes.
in North America, I think, are fantastic too, but
Yes. Yes.
I
Yes.
noticed that the European judges or North American judges who were there went out of their way to make sure that no one was being taken advantage of or
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
sharked or kind of
Yeah.
anything funky.
Yeah. No, I agree. For the little experience that I did have competitively, No complaints. I was actually shocked that even though we entered the expo a little bit later than expected on Friday, we still actually started pretty close to time,
They
which is
ran a very tight ship, I felt like.
very much. And so that's actually almost very shocking in comparison to US DLCs. Like, what do you
Yeah.
mean we're actually starting on time? Like, this is unheard of. So I
I also
appreciate that.
really, really liked the fan area that they had set up. I don't know if you talked
Yes.
about that in any of the other videos you've done yet, but I thought that was so cool.
I'm like, did I? Did I? I don't no, I 100% agree. They certainly set a bar. And for anyone who was able to see it virtually through social media but not experience it in person, I'm sure there's a lot of expectations for indie specifically. The same way we were kind of like, hey, where's our great illuminary, right? Like all of
No,
EU
for sure, it was
DLCs.
and, like, even for me being at Bologna and then being
Yeah,
there, like, both venues were huge open rooms, like, never felt confined, was able to
yeah,
find bathrooms, food, all the
yeah,
things I needed.
yeah,
But it felt like such a level up
yeah.
between Bologna and,
That's
Ghent,
good though.
just having that kind of fan experience,
Sure,
like
sure.
and, like, I talked a bunch to, Mary,
Yeah,
from Austria, who
yeah,
was
yep,
there as an attendee, not a
yep.
competitor, and she had said that there was so many non-competitive things to do that, like, she was never bored. She's never bored anyway, spoilers,
Anyways.
but there like, you were talking about the puzzles before, like, that
Yeah.
didn't exist previously. We had button trading. They're not pins, they're buttons, anyone who
They
asks.
they are buttons. I have noticed that people were calling them pins, and I'm like, "That is not a pin, at least not in my standards." So
Thank you.
yes.
I'm like, "Pin collecting 101, if it
Yeah,
snaps onto you, it's a button."
it's a button. Yes, 100%
But
agree
no,
with
like,
you,
I
no
just thought
argument.
there were a lot of ways like, we saw kids in that area all day long,
Yes,
which I thought was awesome. They had the little, like,
yes,
movie area set up where you could watch
yes,
stuff, they had,
yes.
like, the
It
meet
was
and
good.
greets with the casters, the
Yeah,
developers, the artists, there was just so much stuff.
there
It
was.
it felt almost like a convention in a way, and not just
Yes.
the tournament, which I thought was really
Yes.
cool.
100%. I think for the first time in a while, and I know they've started adding some of these to DLC Richmond and Milwaukee, in that we
Yes.
had the puzzles in Richmond, right? So we had some of these
Oh,
things.
yeah.
But for the most part, there obviously was still more in Ghent. And it almost finally felt like they remembered, hey, it's not just about the competitive aspect of Disney Lorcana. We finally
Yes.
gave you the social aspect.
I
And it so good. So good. I didn't even get even with me being available Saturday and Sunday, I still didn't even partake in everything that was available.
exactly. No, like, there
So
was I just felt like every time I turned around, there was another event going on,
yeah.
like, you told me you did trivia. I didn't get
Yeah,
to do trivia.
so trivia had its own, concerns.
For sure.
Friday couldn't do it because obviously I was still competing. Saturday,
Right.
they apparently started it early, so those of us who actually were, like, running on the schedule
That's why there must have been a
missed it.
crowd over there.
Yes, I actually meant to tell you that was the real reason. It had nothing to
Um,
do with the, meet
with
and
meeting
greets for the
Baker.
casters,
Yes,
but it was the same, yeah, so it was Baker, did the trivia, and then I guess he jumped over to his meet and greet,
I
but,
see.
yeah, so that was the real reason, and then the
Good
last
stuff.
day was Sunday, and there was, like, a technical difficulty after question 1,
Oh, no.
and, like, they eventually got there, but I'm just like, "Oh my goodness." Like, it was riddled with so much drama, but the concept was fun.
Yeah, just, like, as, like, a Disney adult at its finest, I thought it was
Yes.
really cool to have these
Yes.
non-competitive aspects that make you feel
Yes.
included and, like, welcomed
100%.
because like, that's
100%.
that's Disney at its core.
Yes, yes. Now, could they maybe entice pricing a bit better than just a random promo card that they pulled out of a shoebox, essentially? Yes.
But it's a step
Absolutely.
in the right direction.
No, 100%,
Yeah.
100%, but I almost feel like a lot of us, are very prideful in our knowledge and trivia.
Oh,
Um,
yes, I agree.
like, maybe like top 5 get an additional promo card or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
I
Like,
got
it could have literally been the same box, but the
like, you're
fact that
talking to the girl who, when she went on her Disney cruise, got every single character medal and had to go to all of the trivias and then trade a cast member because I couldn't sign Donald.
there you go. There you
So
go.
I understand.
100%. 100%. So in that case, maybe for future feedback, if anyone from Ravensburger, Fanfinity, or Pastimes are watching, yes, let's maybe kind of incorporate some additional incentives for those. It doesn't have to be monetary value. It doesn't have to be anything crazy.
No.
Just like, hey, top 5, you get an extra promo card.
You
I
get
think
2
that would have been great.
promos, or maybe you get a
Something,
choice instead of, like, you
something.
pick randomly.
Yeah,
Like,
because
maybe they
really at
put
the end
3
of it,
out.
yeah, because at the end of it, really all you're getting is a stamp, right?
Right.
Like a stamp to then get to 1 promo card for
Yeah,
doing 5 out of 8 events. So
correct.
it's in the right direction.
Agreed.
Of course, we're always gonna nitpick, but then again, we wouldn't be Disney fans if we didn't.
The
Um,
other thing I think is really cool, as just a last comment,
yeah,
is there were so many content creators who I got to meet, who, like,
yes,
I've talked to so many times, like, shout out
yes,
Maya and Nora,
yes,
like, I've talked to them so many times online and basically got to spend 4 days with them, which was
yep,
just really cool because
yes,
not only are we traveling internationally, but, like, we have friends internationally who we now
yep,
get to talk to and, like, plan when you get to meet up with them, so
yep, yep.
just a cool tidbit to put out there.
Yes, and funny enough that now that you mentioned it, May was actually the one that told me about the tap water. And I looked at her like, I couldn't believe it. I was like,
Yeah,
"Nah, see, no, that ain't it, fam." But shout out to
yeah.
them.
No,
But yeah.
they were great. And, like, also shout out real quick to Kimberly Ann, who was casting. She
Yes!
It's in the other room, I can't grab it, but she went out of her way to buy me something that was only available in EU and Ireland Shop Disney because it wasn't in our Shop Disney.
Oh.
And then, like, when we saw each other, like, I basically, we ended up gifting each other, so I gifted her the Rapunzel card from Epcot because Rapunzel is,
Aw.
like, her favorite,
It
and you
is,
and I
yeah.
were able to get an extra
Yes.
since, like, we went
Yeah.
for 2. And
Yeah.
then, like,
Yeah.
she gave me this adorable lady keychain, like, plush keychain that goes on my backpack, so
I
it's just
love
really cool,
that.
like, you don't think about that aspect when we're
No,
talking about Disney Lorcana, but it really is
no.
a community and, like, a friendship.
I 100% is, I think we would be here till tomorrow if we literally just mentioned every single interaction, every
Exactly.
positive exchange, like the fact that we were able to connect, to your point, to people that have literally just been pixels on a screen for so
Yeah.
long. It's as if we literally like went to school with them, right?
Exactly.
So fun to do, and honestly, I hope you get to see a lot of them again, right? God
I
only
know,
knows
like, I
who's
hope some of
going.
them can come out to Indy or
We'll see.
D23 or whatever event it might be on in
We'll
our neck of
see.
the woods.
We'll see. I mean, Kimberly Ann has been coming over to ours a couple
She has,
times,
her and
so
Kawa and
yeah,
Stussy, like, all
that's
flew and
true.
played at Richmond.
That's true. That's true. So
Or
hey, you
Stussy
never
might have
know.
been Milwaukee, not Richmond, I
It
forget,
was
but
Milwaukee. I think he was
yeah.
Milwaukee. Yeah, yeah. But definitely Kimberly Ann and Kawa went to both
Yeah,
over in NA. So hey, we'll see. Maybe third time's a charm. We did have the Melissa sandwich photo with her.
we did.
So that was another
Shout out
thing that we
Enchanted
did.
Kim, we miss you and we love
Sh-
you.
Yes. So for those who are like, what the hell just happened? What was that? Something like, bad? No. So in Richmond, Kim, Enchanted Kim, shout out to her, and then Kimberly Ann were doing Kim sandwiches where they would take a picture with Kim and Kim on one end and then somebody in the middle. And they called it a Kim sandwich. And then us both being Melissa's, we did the reverse with Kimberly Ann. So we called it the Melissa and Kim sandwich. So it's just silly things we do as content creators. Don't mind us. Um
We were just having fun, but, I mean, as much as
silliness.
it's about a card game, it's about having fun, so
Yes.
it's
Yes.
all good
Yes.
things.
Yes, all good things. Let's close off with a fun, just let's get the competitive meta talk out of the way, and let's pose a hypothetical. So Melissa, you, not
Mhm.
me, has the ability to create I don't know, let's say a completely brand new card.
Oh boy.
What have you been hoping for? What do you wanna see? Have you ever had a moment where you're like, "Man, this would be cool right about now," or, something to kinda
I'm
help?
gonna be
I'm gonna
honest, I
literally give
haven't
you
really
anything.
thought about it.
Really? Really? Okay, okay, then fine, let's do
Yeah.
this. Is there a scene, character, or moment from Lady and the Tramp that you're like, "Why haven't we seen this in Disney Lorcana yet?" Let's do that one.
So the pups don't have their own card yet.
Okay, that's fair.
Like
Alright.
the triplet puppies, Annette, Colette, and
Yes.
Danielle, and then
Yep.
Scamp, they
That's
are
fair.
on Jacques' card,
They
but
are.
they
They
do
are.
not have their own cards.
This is true. Do you know
So
who
I
else
don't know, like,
doesn't?
mm, I know Jim Deere does.
They're, in my opinion, the most annoying characters in that
Oh, I
movie.
know why they I don't so here's the thing, because I like Lady, I don't
Yeah,
like Cyan. I never have and I never will. So, like, I've just blocked them out. But what I will
that
say
is
as a
fair.
but what I will say as a Disney pin collector
Uh-huh,
is in
uh-huh.
the past, we used to have a lot of Cyan pins, and in
Ah.
the last, call it 5 to 8 years, they've kind of, fizzled away.
Mm.
Um And
Okay.
so it wouldn't surprise me that on the same logic that we haven't seen new Cyan pins, that we wouldn't see a Cyan card.
That's fair. And you know what? I am A-okay with that, for the same reasons that I know you are, too. I just, um, that scene, that entire song, I am just
Ugh.
filled with so much
I hate it.
emotion. Oh my goodness, yes, yes, and th that's the whole point of that scene,
I
obviously,
know.
right? But obviously you know this, but it's just it's
Yeah.
like, "No! No! What did she do to
Poor
you?"
Melissa was blamed for their disaster.
Oh, exactly. But, like, of course she did, right?
I know.
Of
I
course
get
she
it.
did.
I understand it. I just don't
Oh,
like it.
exactly. I agree with you there. Alright, well, then, hopefully we do get the litter. We'll call it the litter.
All my pups.
And maybe they will start the new generation of a dog's deck. We never
That would be
know.
cool.
On that note, I think we'll wrap up there.
Yes.
Um, Thank you again, Melissa, for your time. Again, this time flew. We could literally talk for hours. I know that you and I can gab all day.
Oh, yes.
But let's go ahead and wrap up. I hope you have a great remainder of your night and week, Melissa. And for the audience, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully, you enjoyed walking through Melissa's history with Disney Lorcana and just enjoyed us kind of, chatting about our Disney Lorcana friends and our experiences at Ghent recently. So until next episode, thank you for joining and stay enchanted.
Everyone.